What's up, YouTube? This is your girl Megan. Welcome back to the Hood Astro Queen, to all of my returning subscribers. However, if this is your first time joining me on today, be sure to hit that subscribe button because you know you want to. Also, I hope y'all are having a happy colonizers day. Turkey day, whatever you want to call it. Okay, we know it was some horrible shit that took place initially, okay? But at least we get this time off if you're working or, whatever the case may be. Hopefully, some people don't, though. And even if you don't, look, eat good, drink good, be happy, be merry, because this is Sag season, and therefore, in that same vein, we are going to kick off this Sag season by doing a good old fashioned Sagittarius exposed. So that's right, the good, the bad, the ugly about Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is a positive masculine sign. It's mutable, being that it's very adaptable to whatever energy is around. Sagittarius is symbolized by the centaur, which is the half man, half horse, with its archer aimed high to the sky, representing Sagittarian's optimism, the natural inclination to reach for the stars, and with Sagittarius governed by Jupiter, which is one of the most benevolent planets in astrology. This can grant a lot of favorable qualities. So, thanks to this Jupiterian influence, Sagittarians are known for their larger than life generosity, blessings, and once again, that enthusiasm. Sagittarius is a lot of Sagittarians are graced with a natural element of luck. And even though they can be clumsy, they can be bull in a china cabinet, ain't that the saying? There's always a stroke of luck that they can capitalize on during the right time. Now, that's not to say you can't fuck up your life in other ways, but even when your life is like shitty, you can just receive little blessings to make it not as shitty. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be anything super magical, but that's just one of the benefits of Jupiter. Jupiter also enhances things, expands things, makes things bigger. So these people can be very much freedom seekers. Sagittarians are very expansive individuals. Also, considering the fact that they exist on multiple different levels. They have multiple layers of their psyche, and many people do. Most humans do, but Sagittarians have a very keen interest in the hows and the whys of life, in building ideals, and they thrive off of being able to exchange ideas, off of being able to learn, because Jupiter also does govern graduate studies, higher levels of learning, institutions. So these people can be kind of philosophical. Now, you don't have to be necessarily smart or intelligent, because you do have the Sagittarians who are not as, they can be kind of dingbatty. But you also have the more studious ones as well. And yeah, they're very, very enlightened. But both types are very much in tune with the divine, okay? Because Jupiter is also the planet of spirituality, religion, even. And this also makes a lot of Sagittarians quite spiritual. And it does fuel that need for a spiritual existence. Sagittarians love being able to assign meaning to people, places, and things. So, from personal experience, I'm a Sagittarius, agnostic, if you will, not really religious in any type of way. However, my grandmother, who is also a Sagittarius, is a Jehovah's Witness. Okay, I know another girl that I grew up with, Sagittarius. She married a pastor, or her husband became a pastor, or something like that. So it's a very, very common thing to see. Now, with Jupiter also governing multiculturalism, they can also have had a very multicultural upbringing where they were around lots of different people, a lot of different, even like ethnicities of people. This could also even produce a person who is a worldwide traveler, someone who is constantly taking vacations. Sagittarians are known to book a flight on that ass in a minute. Although not me, I'm scared of planes, but you get the point. Traveling is all a part of that expansiveness. That could even have a certain affinity for foods, different foods from other cultures that are like, oh, takeout. I like Chinese takeout. I like Indian food. Some people like Ethiopian food. You know, that's very Sagittarian to be inclined towards foreign cuisines. And this could even kind of bleed over into their dating choices because I've seen lots of Sagittarians prefer exotic looking people. They could date outside of their race. They could also be attracted to just a wide variety, a wide array of people. I dealt with a Sagittarius dude before who, I mean, yeah, he messed with me, but the other women that he dated looked nothing like me. It was like he liked a wide array of things. And as a Sagittarius myself, I can relate. I don't just like one type of guy. I, sex enough meat to go around. I like all the men. Not all the men. Some of y'all can stay where y'all. A lot of y'all can actually stay where y'all at. But you get my point, okay? I can appreciate the beauty in a variety, in a vast type of looks, so to speak. And Sagittarian men are definitely the same way. Definitely the same way. And even with that in mind, Jupiter does deal with expansiveness. It deals with where there's a lot of something, where you just kind of have an insatiable desire for something. And with a lot of Sagittarians, that could even extend into the dating realm, and as a result can make you the type to want a lot of I mean, this could be sex. Sagittarians are half beast, or they're represented by the half beast, so they can just, Sagittarians can be like the freaks, but also even like thoughts, and specifically the men, because they have been socialized to kind of really act on a lot of their sexual desires and impulses. Sagittarians can be very raw and very physical when it comes down to that. Also, even with Sagittarian men, you can look at this as them having a insatiable appetite for women, even, for their sexual expression, for their dating life. That's what the sun deals with anyway, if he's a Sag sun. So it's just like they're naturally going to be hard to settle down. These are not men that are easily tameable, aka Offset, i.e., Jay-Z, The Game, Trey Songz. Need I go on? Like, it's ridiculous. Sagittarius can also have very tell it like it is type of personalities, very blunt, very uncouth, and even tactless with their truthfulness. But they do kind of make up for this by being charming as well. They're very much charming, wise, intellectual, and thought provoking. But on the negative end, they could be downright like idealists and kind of unrealistic and not really plugged into reality. Some of us can have our heads in the clouds due to like our high ideals and being such an idealist, and even to the point where we get disappointed a lot. When you set your hopes very high and have a lot of expectations, I mean, people are just not going to meet them. That's just life. So that's where Sagittarius does fall short. Now, Sagittarius does also have a natural interest in politics. As I stated before, graduate studies. They can be very much self-learners, very knowledgeable, and lifelong truth seekers. However, another negative manifestation of Sagittarius and their tendency to kind of be that idealistic archetype is that they can be very preachy, which makes it no coincidence that Sagittarius is the sign of the preacher. And this also leaves Sagittarius wide open to being a hypocrite. Sagittarians are known hypocrites, saying one thing and doing another, or not being able to take the heat when being challenged or when being held accountable. And another great example of this is Nene Leakes. She's always saying one thing and doing another. Another great example is Nicki Minaj. She fits a lot of these Sagittarian checkpoints and archetype behaviors, but yes, she is very much a hypocrite. They could also be very self-righteous. Sagittarians can also have very over-the-top personalities. They can be boisterous, charismatic, but also just downright obnoxious and just annoying. You know, they can also be jokesters. The successive nature does come at a cost, though, because Sagittarians can suffer going overboard. Like I said, that extraness, that Jupiter energy, even though Jupiter is a good thing, or traditionally in astrology, you know, most astrologers refer to Jupiter as like, oh, it's a good planet and everything about it is just good, and it's just good, and there's just that on that. So Sagittarians are good and they're just good, and that's just that on that. It's like, well, no, you can always have too much of something, and that shit will destroy your life. So that's Sagittarius people have to focus on the excess in their lives. And for different people, it looks like different things. But Sagittarius can get carried away with indulging in worldly pleasures, that is, which is very similar to the other two signs that are governed by a quote unquote favorable planet. And those signs are Libra and Taurus, as they're both governed by Venus, which also debunks this theory of good planet versus bad planet type of dynamic that a lot of astrologers tend to subscribe to, or it's just some that I've seen in the past. You know, that you can have too much of a good thing, and just like Sagittarians, Tauruses, and even Libras are known for their overindulgence in worldly pleasures. I wouldn't say so much physical things. I guess it could be physical things with Sagittarius, but definitely in the food department. But also, you know, that same combination can grant financial blessings. And like, as I was stated earlier, these can be big or small. They can exist on a spectrum. However, Sagittarius and having that Sagittarian energy can deal with you putting on a lot of weight. It can definitely, like I said, be a product of, or a byproduct of, that overindulgence, especially when placed on the ascendant, Sag ascendants, or if you have Jupiter negatively aspecting the ascendant. Like, that can be brazy. Like, you might gain weight like nobody's business, and it tends to get worse as you get older. Also, one of Sagittarius's physical areas of vulnerability is the liver, which can be prone to damage as a result of consuming too much alcohol, excess. The Jupiter influence makes Sagittarians and Pisceans two of the biggest drug users, drinkers in the zodiac. Okay, like a Pisces and a damn Sagittarius getting together. The Pisces over here trying to disassociate from reality, while the Sagittarian trying to like just have a good night, and they think it's a fun idea at the time. It's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. Dark-sided Sagittarians can be downright untamable, almost like wild stallions. After all, Sagittarius is half horse, so this insatiable desire for freedom can easily evolve into recklessness. It's a very, very slippery slope, especially the Sagittarians who lack religious, morals, or spiritual convictions to keep them grounded. So these people can be even like promiscuous, especially the men. The women too. Society makes it okay for the men to be that way more so, but yeah, the women too. Sagittarius' desire for adventure combined with their flighty nature can also make them quite irresponsible and even absent-minded, which I personally struggle with. That's my struggle. Jupiter's influence can make Sagittarians abstract, big picture people, and therefore they tend to kind of gloss over certain details, or I think I said it before, kind of be the type to have their heads in the clouds, not really paying attention, which is, that could be a problem. And for me, I'm a Sag sun, Virgo moon. My sun is squaring my moon. So it's like I'm constantly being pulled in two different directions. Like, it's torture. It's torture. So my fellow Sagittarians, y'all drop down in the comment section. Let me know if you can relate. However, this level of irresponsibility can also wind Sagittarius in trouble with the law. And this could be not paying a ticket or something, or once again, just being absent-minded when it comes to following through on legal matters. It could also deal with Sagittarians just feeling a sense of lawlessness and being very, very much concerned with justice and fairness. Therefore, it'll be hard to make them do something that they don't want to do. And that could absolutely still apply when it comes to matters involving the law. So, for example, I heard of someone, she's actually my mentor. She's a Sagittarius as well. And she actually refused to pay a speeding ticket or something like that when she was younger, and it caused her a lot of grief. And she did it because she didn't feel like she deserved to get the ticket in the first place. That's quintessential Sagittarius. It's all about justice and what they feel like is fair, and if it's not, then I'm just gonna do what I want to do. Sagittarius also deals with the law. It governs high court, high level law, international court, so to speak. So yeah, it's no wonder that some Sagittarians seem to find themselves on the more unfavorable end of this. Sagittarius is also a lover of sports and can be quite competitive, very similar to the other fire signs like Aries and Leo. There's a desire to be physically active, and these people could enjoy being physically active, or there could just be a need for it to the point where it could have a very profound impact on your health, especially for someone who has their Mars in Sagittarius, for example. So that'll be very important. But there could also be a tendency to harbor excess energy. Once again, that excessiveness kind of tying back into that Jupiter influence. This also coincides with why Sagittarius rules the legs and the hips and the butt. A lot of these areas on Sagittarians tend to be very developed. For some, overly developed, like if you're a Sagittarius South Node or something. But, this can manifest in very shapely bodies. But it's all ties back into their bodies being designed for athleticism. Also, Sagittarius is a mutable sign, making it prone towards extreme violence, only being able to be calmed when completely burned out. And this usually happens when Sagittarius loses their optimism. I always say I pulled up a list of serial killers, and every single serial killer, I think it may have been 60 on the list, but yes, like every single person on the list was a mutable sign, meaning they were either Sagittarius, Gemini, Virgo, or Pisces. So also you might want to be mindful of people who have their Mars in these signs as well, because they can very much have a kind of tick boom that can make them very volatile, very abusive human beings. So there's definitely a negative manifestation of that Sagittarian energy. However, once they've exploded, Sagittarians are quick to move on for the most part and aren't likely to hold grudges. Not unless there is some sort of like extreme act of injustice that's been committed. And so that pretty much sums up Sagittarius Exposed. Y'all feel free to drop down in the comment section if you have any experiences or something else that you want to add to that. Go ahead, talk it up, chat it up, chop it up. But most importantly, I want you guys to have an excellent Black Friday, excellent weekend. And I hope you had a really, really great Thanksgiving Day, okay? So, yeah, make sure you practice unconditional self-love so that you can love others. And as always, until the next video, I holla.